On today's show, I'm going to give you my opinion on the new Senate bill and attorney fees and costs no longer being available in Florida. Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. What's up, advocates? Welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Claims Show. I'm your host, Vince Perry, the Commercial Claims Advocate, owner and CEO of Elite Resolutions. We are a full-service public adjusting firm, and frankly, I am here to educate you. I want to educate you on something that has been on everybody's mind lately, and that's the new Senate bill that was passed in regards to attorney fees and costs mainly, and also there's no more AOBs, by the way. But before I get into that, make sure you go on commercialclaimsadvocate.com. If you are a public adjuster, or if you're a contractor, or you're an attorney, and you want to educate yourself a little bit more on the insurance claims process, well, on commercialclaimsadvocate.com, you can get this beautiful public adjuster handbook here. We also have a course that really breaks down everything that's in this handbook, chapter by chapter, that you can watch at your own leisure. And we've got a bunch of other stuff as well. And go on eliteresolutions.com and follow me all over social media, because we're always coming out with really cool stuff. So, additional living expenses is one of the most difficult parts of an insurance claim. And the reason is it's very high pressure. And as a public adjuster or contractor, you're already dealing with the negotiating of the build back process. You don't want to have to deal with ALE as well. Black Diamond Housing Services does all of that. They don't even charge the client. They bill it directly to the insurance company. It's all covered under the ALE coverage. So you need to call Black Diamond if you have a house that has been severely lost, whether it's like severe mold, severe water, fire, or anything like that, where they need a place to stay. Call Black Diamond Housing Services and they'll be able to take care of your client from beginning to end. I like to get right to the point in these videos. I used to spend a lot of time with the intro, but not now. Let's get right to the point, right? Senate bill is where we want to really get to. And the fact of the matter is I'm going to give you my opinion on what it means to no longer have attorney fees and costs, because that's really what the big issue is. Everybody's up in arms, everybody's afraid, and everybody doesn't know, they don't know what to do, and just really scared. There was a few other things passed with that Senate bill, like limitations on times and when the insurance company is supposed to provide an estimate after you request it, which I believe is 7 days now. And just a lot of little things like AOBs, assignment of benefits, is basically no longer allowed in Florida, which I completely disagree with. As a public adjuster who will refer a water mitigation company to come in to do all the water mitigation work, it's very nice for me as the quarterback of the insurance claim to let that get handled by the water mitigation company so that I don't have to deal with it. And basically the insured signs off this assignment of benefits, which, by the way, it's not for the entire claim. It's just for the water mitigation portion. What does that do? That also eliminates the burden from the homeowner to have to pay that person, or to have to make sure that they cut a check after the insurance company pays. By signing an assignment of benefits and assigning the entire portion of the water mitigation to that water mitigation company, it's the water mitigation company's problem. They deal with it. They do their estimates. They bill the insurance company. They negotiate with the insurance company. They go back and forth with the insurance company. They follow up with them, and nobody else has to do anything else. It's just it's so consumer unfriendly to not allow this assignment of benefits. But I don't know, I guess we're at a point now where that's it, right? We can't really do much about it. So I completely disagree with that as well, but it is what it is. We kind of saw that coming. The big part of the Senate bill is definitely the fact that there's no longer attorney fees and costs. I think this caught everyone by surprise, because we knew that the attorneys were going to get affected by this, but we didn't know they were just going to be like completely wiping it out. We thought that it was going to be like maybe like if they settle for less than 50% of the estimate, or if they settle for less than 25% of the estimate, then the attorney fees and costs is gone. Or whatever. I don't know. We thought that there was gonna be like sort of like a sort of limitation as to when it would be removed during the settlement process of the claim. But it's gone, and it's gone completely. Now, what does this mean? I'm gonna give you my top 5. My top 5 opinions about where this is going. Number 1 is less lawsuits. Obviously, there's going to be a lot less lawsuits, which is really what they wanted, right? Ultimately, that was the number 1 goal, was to eliminate the amount of lawsuits that we have going on in Florida, which I will give my honest opinion was way too much. I completely agree. I think that I've been preaching since day one. We can go back to probably the old videos. We can talk to other public adjusters who have had conversations with me in the past. And since day one, my goal is always to avoid going to litigation. I believe as a public adjuster, we should be working the claim from A to Z. And a lawsuit should only be filed when all other avenues have been tried and all else fails, that's what the litigation process for anything, in my opinion, is there for. Even a divorce attorney. Why are you going to go straight to a divorce attorney? You should try to work it out amicably first. Same goes for insurance claims. Try to figure it out. I know attorneys are going to disagree with all this stuff, but that's okay. They're a business as well. But in my opinion, I did think that there were way too many lawsuits. So there's going to be much less lawsuits now as a result of this bill being passed. So what does that mean? Number two, attorneys are going to be fleeing this industry probably pretty fast. I've already talked to a lot of attorneys. They're already thinking about what they're going to do in regards to the personal injury side and what they're going to do for whatever else that they wanted to do in the beginning of their career. And they're not sure if they're going to be doing this anymore because it's just not worth it for them, right? So before, when an insurance claim would go to litigation and the attorney would negotiate with the insurance company on how much money it costs to put the home back together again and how much the repair costs were going to be, they would settle for, say, I don't know, let's say $10,000 for the homeowner, and then on top of the $10,000, they would negotiate their fee with the other attorneys. So they were still billing per hour throughout the litigation process. And what was good, what helped them obviously was, after a while, the insurance company, they just don't want to go back and forth because they know that they're going to have to pay so much more. The longer that the case drags out, the more they're going to have to pay the attorney, so they want to settle it. So that means a couple things, right? I mean, you have a couple things that could happen. You could have your bad apple attorneys that purposely try to drag it out so they could make their money. But let me tell you, that works on both sides, because the insurance company side, let me tell you, they drag it out as well so that they could also bill what they have to bill. But anyway, that's for another video. So it was good because the insurance company would try technically to speed up the settlement process, knowing that not only were they going to have to pay for the bill back to the insured, but they're also now building up costs that they're going to have to pay for the attorney side as well. They no longer have to worry about that. So now that's bad because, again, now the insurance company could really drag them through the mud and take as long as they want, because now the attorney could only charge on the bill back. They could only charge on the actual award for the actual claim. So what does that mean? You're going to have a big case to convince an attorney to take it, because before they were making a lot of money on these claims, and now they could only charge a certain percentage, and they're not going to want to charge too much of a percentage, especially if there's a public adjuster involved, because all of us would be taking half the claim. So it gets a little fishy, gets a little dicey. Basically, what I know, because I've worked North Carolina claims and I've worked different claims throughout the country that don't have attorney fees and costs, most attorneys will not take a case unless it's over $100,000. I don't know if that's what that's going to mean here, but that's just what I know in states that don't have attorney fees and cost statute. If it's $30,000, $40,000 claim, which, by the way, is the average, is usually able to settle about $30,000, they're not going to take a case like that because it's just not worth it for them. They don't want to make $3,000 to $6,000 or maybe $9,000. I guess it's not enough. It's just not going to be worth it. So you are going to have attorneys who have been in this industry for maybe a little bit of time and no longer feel it's good for them, and they'll go somewhere else. Or maybe attorneys that were thinking about going into this industry will not actually pursue that and go into another industry. So we're going to have less attorneys, that's for sure. Photographs are the most important piece of documentation on an insurance claim. And I used to take photos on my phone like anything, and I used to throw them onto a drive, and that's all it was. Company Cam has streamlined and made this process so much easier, I can't even begin to describe. Everything is labeled. You label them how you want to label them. You could order them how they're actually taken, and then you could label them and put them wherever you want. But my favorite part is being able to write on the actual photo, have arrows, have circles, have boxes of the actual damage, because sometimes you just see a photo and you don't even know where the damage is. This allows you to do that. The guys at Company Cam are fantastic. I've been using Company Cam for a long time, and we use it at Elite Resolutions, and I suggest that you use it too. Get Company Cam. Number 3 opinion, what does it mean? It is going to make our job in Florida as public adjusters, it will make our job harder. Why is that? Well, because frankly, we've always had that in our back pocket. I've always had that. Although I do try to avoid filing a lawsuit, although I do try to avoid litigation, because in my opinion, I do believe that it drags out way too long. It's good to have it in my back pocket, right? Like if I'm arguing and I'm fighting for this and I'm fighting for that, and I'm quoting policy and I'm quoting all the building costs and estimating procedures and build back procedures and construction stuff, whatever it is, if they continue to send me to hell, like I always say, and they don't want to pay, I could always say, okay, fine, I've done everything I can, we're going to file a lawsuit. Or if I go to mediation, I can't figure it out, we can't settle it in mediation, okay, whatever, we're going to go to we're going to go to litigation. It was nice to have that in the back pocket because a lot of times when I would make that threat for litigation, they would come back and say, okay, fine. You've set up a nice claim here. Obviously, you've got everything documented. We're not going to win this thing in litigation, nor do we have a chance. Let's just settle it now. We'll save a lot of money by settling it now than by going into litigation. So I no longer have that. We as public adjusters no longer have that last line of defense, like I used to call it. Public adjusters are the first line of defense. Attorneys are the last line of defense. In the smaller claims, we no longer really have that. So we have to really get going. And what I'm going to advise you right now is something that I've already started doing. Get your certifications. Get your other licenses. Get everything that you can, public adjusters. I have already signed up for a Hague certification residential. I'm going to sign up for a Hague commercial certification. I'm going to get all the IIRC certifications, stuff that I never really got before. There's also a lot of insurance adjuster certifications like CPCU, there's AIC, and there's a lot of different things. Now's the time. Now's the time, public adjusters. If you're going to stay in this industry, like I know I am, you're going to want to get those certifications to really back up your arguments, back up everything that you're presenting to make it, make it easier for you, make it more difficult for the insurance company to say no to you when you have those qualifications to back up your arguments. So please, if I could say anything in this video, here in 2022, I want you all to get at least 2 new certifications this year. Can we make that deal? Okay. Let's make that deal. Everybody watching this video, 2 new certifications in 2023 to really step up your game because I think that's going to help a lot. So I think that was 3 that we did. The next one is, like I just mentioned, public adjusters are going to flee as well. It's going to happen. I know it is. Public adjusters are going to be like, oh, I've already heard it. Oh no, what's happening to our industry? Our industry's over. We can't file lawsuits anymore and we can't do this. It is what it is. That's fine. I'm stuck in this, guys. I've been doing this for long enough. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be doing this for a very long time because I truly believe in what we do. So I'm not going anywhere, but there are going to be public adjusters that are going to flee. So what that means, it just makes it better for us that are sticking around, okay? We're going to figure this out. I know we are. Like I said, get your licenses and we will be able to step up our game because my last one, which is always the best one, I like to save the best for the last if you're still watching. I do truly believe, this is number 5, this will elevate the public adjuster industry. Why? Because attorneys aren't going to want to take cases, but claims are still going to always have to be disputed and fought for. So where else is the client going to go to if they can't go to an attorney? Public adjusters. It is going to elevate our industry. I feel very confident and optimistic about that. Because again, when they cannot go to an attorney, they are going to need someone. And the contractor can't do it. It's still illegal for a contractor to talk policy and to negotiate arguments in regards to denials or coverage issues. That is the licensed public insurance adjuster that can do that. And that's why I do believe that we can separate ourselves from the public adjusters that are fleeing, from the attorneys that are fleeing, and from those who are just not experienced enough to handle some of these cases. If you are willing to do that, like I know I am, then we need to fight. We need to fight for our people to make sure that these people get the settlements they deserve. Is it going to make our job a little bit harder? Yes. Get your certifications and really get focused on really making sure that you know that policy in and out so that we could argue on behalf of the client because that's at the end of the day what we're here for. So I do think that the level that the public adjuster industry will be elevated as a result of this. So are you with me or you're not? It's up to you. That's it, guys. That's my top 5. Okay? There's going to be less lawsuits. Attorneys are going to flee. It's going to make our jobs harder. So public adjusters are going to flee, but it will ultimately elevate our industry, which is what we're here for. That's all I got, guys. Again, my name is Vince Perry. I'm the Commercial Claims Advocate. You can find me at commercialclaimsadvocate.com. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and all that good stuff. Go ahead and follow me there. And also go on eliteresolutions.com. Like I said, a full-service public adjusting firm. And what does that mean? Guess what? We have an entire estimating department. If you guys need any estimates done, please feel free. Shoot me a message. Go on our website, our brand new website, by the way, which is killer. And you can go ahead and you can leave a request for an estimate, and we'll be glad to put together an estimate for you. Whether you're an attorney, whether you're a public adjuster or a contractor, we do offer estimating services now, amongst other new services that are going to be coming to you. So guys, reach out to me, reach out to us, Elite Resolutions Commercial Claims Advocate. Thank you for following. Subscribe to our channel. Every Wednesday we have a new video. Every Monday we have a new podcast. Every Friday we're coming at you with a best of the week video. So we're not going anywhere, guys. We are here to stay. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for following. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.